and let's discuss more about WhatsApp. WhatsApp has issued a public clarification after a huge hue and cry over their WhatsApp policy update. They have said, they've tried to clarify after there was an uproar. They say, we don't share contacts with Facebook, groups remain completely private, and concerns over user data, many switch to other apps. That's what has actually happened. So WhatsApp has also issued a statement that you see on your screen right now, where they say our privacy policy update does not affect the privacy of your messages with friends and family. Learn more about how we protect your privacy as well as what we do not share with Facebook here. And then there is another tweet in which they give out the various, in the form of a JPEG image, the various things that WhatsApp does and does not do. Now, will this cut ice with people is what is most important. With what WhatsApp is saying and what it is sharing as of this moment, does that work? What do experts feel? I'm not talking about the layman, but what does the expert feel? Amit Dubey is an ethical hacker and a cybersecurity expert, is now with us. We also have Aditya, is a journalist with Medianama, and Dr. Karnika Seth, cyber law expert and advocate. Thank you very much. It's an important discussion. Let's begin with you, Mr. Dubey. What do you make of WhatsApp's explanation? We've heard a lot about the policy itself, the manner in which it was foisted upon everyone, almost like a my way or the highway approach. But now WhatsApp is explaining. What do you make of this explanation?
Yes, Sanket, we were expecting this explanation from them, and because there is a policy change and they have given a changed terms and conditions to the users, for sure there is something which they are accessing now which they were not allowed or they were not doing it earlier. So the change is there. But then I also discussed with some of the WhatsApp management guys, and they clearly explained like the change is actually in the business WhatsApp side, not to the user WhatsApp side. And the kind of encryption and the policies are quite same, and there's no such change. And even for law enforcement, they are not going to give any group details or chat details. It's not possible because of the very nature of encryption. But then the concern that is still are there, like because WhatsApp is integrating it with various other platforms, especially with WhatsApp Pay or with other chat messenger platform, and that's where this concern actually arises, because once they'll have our payment history, they will definitely get our location history as well. And location with payment history reveals lots of things about a person. And then also they'll be reading all the SMSs, financial alerts and all. So they will basically create our profile based on our expense pattern and purchase pattern. That is something which these kind of concerns are still there. So we are yet to get some clarity on it, like are they going to anonymize it, or like Google or someone, or what is their future approach? They are definitely going to have a plan to integrate WhatsApp Messenger with Facebook Messenger and Instagram Messenger. So those kind of things will also create challenges, because the privacy policy for Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp is different.
No, and it's very simple. It's very simple. You know, Dr. Seth, for anyone who operates WhatsApp, which is all of us, it's very clear that when you go to Facebook, you have a different set of expectations, largely because of what we have heard of Facebook. You have a different set of expectations for Instagram. These are all public profiles, right? They are largely public. They are for you to connect with the public. WhatsApp, on the other hand, came into existence as a private chat messenger. It is private in nature. Do you think that an attempt has been made by the parent company Facebook to alter the very DNA of what WhatsApp was originally?
I think I completely endorse that, and I share your sentiment as well on this issue, because the expectation of public from this platform has been very different right from the very inception. And that's what has made this policy change so imminent and as a threat, you know, because a lot of the information which they plan to share and use it for commercial purposes, whether it is personal information of people, location, the IP, the payment history, or you know, what interests them or not, it is profiling of an individual. And if you would appreciate Section 43A in the Information Technology Act also puts an obligation on any service provider who's taking information like this from any general public or users to safeguard the privacy and data of that individual. If that is the kind of law which we have in the country, even without the PDP, then you would, imagine that giving this license to them with a simple click, and I agree, means that you're giving a license in the hands of WhatsApp to actually commercially use your personal information, whichever way, for commercial exploitation. That is the worry. So having said that, even if it is for business accounts, I feel that when it comes to business interests, there is a lot of information.
Yeah, no, Ms. Seth, see, the problem is, very cleverly it is said that this is for business accounts, but this policy update message is coming to everyone, whether you use a business app or not.
Absolutely. Not only that, I would say that the business sensitive information is also there. So it's not that only the personal information or communication which is happening. It's because it's encrypted, nothing goes out, because there are other profiles which are going to be still disseminated. Even if the encrypted communication stays as it is, there is a lot of information gathered even otherwise, whether it's transactions with any business entity,
correct,
or even to individuals, which phone numbers are there, what are the photographs, so a lot is in public domain and a lot is at risk. And that is the worry. We're at a time when data protection laws are not so strong to, withstand the test of this kind of a new policy. And had PDP been in place, this policy would have not been successful on the anvil of law.
Do you know, Aditya, I want to come to Aditya now. Aditya, a lot of people who are speaking in favor of WhatsApp, they say that, come on, the apps in any case have far more information about you in any case, and you willingly give them so much information. It's just that WhatsApp was honest enough to put all of this out and seek permission. While I don't get this logic, but what do you make of this? So that WhatsApp in any case knew all these things. You give your permission, location permission and DPA, everything there, it's there with them.
Yeah, so it is sort of a flawed argument in general, because of course, if one app does it and is doing it in bad faith, that doesn't mean that it's good faith if it's being done by somebody just by alerting their users about it. So that is a flawed argument in general. So I mean, it's important to also understand that WhatsApp isn't just any app. WhatsApp is perhaps the most well-known. It is on every single smartphone that
correct,
in this country. Like, they have more than 45 crore, I think the latest figure suggests.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that there is a closer integration of WhatsApp with Facebook should ring some alarm bells, because we understand, we already know that it's recorded history that we already know the dangers of your data being available on Facebook, and we saw that with Cambridge Analytica. We saw how useful it is to certain bad actors, how your data can be misused. Now, in essence, with this free flow of data between, it's been rightly pointed out that a lot of this, the new changes are about WhatsApp's business account, but that is equally important, right? That gives you a better understanding of who your users are, what kind of things they purchase, what kind of businesses they interact with. It gives you a very good picture of who you are. And now that there is a closer integration, now Facebook has a better understanding and will have a better understanding of who their users are. They can triangulate between these data points, and they have a very good picture of who you are, and they, in essence, they know you in the most intimate of ways.
Correct.
And you don't want a company like Facebook to know you in that kind of a way.
Correct.
Because you know that data could fall into wrong hands.
And their explanation that, see, your chats will remain end-to-end encrypted. So we are not reading into that.
If I may, I just wanted to make one point. So a lot of this particular clarification talks a lot about the security of private messages. The thing is, nobody was really concerned about the security of private messages because it's protected by end-to-end encryption. And this is not about your trust in Facebook or by extension WhatsApp, but that technologically it's impossible for them to access your messages. So that was never under question. To make their clarification, a lot of it about these personal messages, it's a little bit disingenuous, if you ask me, and doesn't necessarily negate the amount of concern that people have about the new policy. And it also, perhaps this is the straw that breaks the camel's back, that you've seen this amount of distrust building up over Facebook and WhatsApp over these many years. And this is what it took for people to finally wake up and say, yeah, probably this is not something that they want. Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Okay, Dr. Seth, very quickly, I want to come back to you. You know, a very interesting observation by a close acquaintance who says that this latest policy is like unlocking a coal block right under a reserved forest for a company like Facebook. Something which was out of bounds is now going to be available to them. So while you can do mining in a coal block, you can do data mining, which would have otherwise remained sacred. Now my point is, as a cyber law expert, what are the legal options?
You see, as we say that, data is a new oil, and that's what they're trying to mine. So now, you see, what I would try to, explain here is that if you see any nation in the world which respects privacy and data of their people, the laws are very clear that they cannot take which is more than necessary for rendering any kind of services, whether it is a social media platform or otherwise. So if they're taking more than what is necessary, and if they're taking permissions which will be actually profiling individuals and selling that for commercial gain, that is a huge sign of worry. So what cannot be done legally cannot be just justified by changing of a policy, because that will not stand the test of law. And even in a country like India, where we are respecting fundamental right to privacy, even if there is no PDP bill, I feel that this should be brought in a scanner, because what is legally possible in India, even with 43A being there in IT Act, this policy will not withstand the test of law, because they cannot take something which is more than necessary. Just to render a social media network, they cannot take people's data, profile them, and sell it on a plate to somebody else, third parties. So anybody who's giving that permission is a lot at stake, and nothing is going to be protected in terms of privacy if they feel so.
Sure. Amit Dubey, my final question to you, how did WhatsApp come into being? And this is recent history, and all of us are aware. So there was the world of iMessage for Apple users. There was a world of BlackBerry Messenger for BlackBerry users. That's when the company was still alive, right? And then came this thing called WhatsApp, which was a sort of a cross operating system messenger. And it became extremely popular, right? It's not like we were always born with WhatsApp. So now that it has come to this, what are the good options available as of now?
Sanket, when WhatsApp was formed by Brian Acton and John Coombe, this was their prime objective, to provide privacy and a very, very secret or encrypted way of communication. And that's why it actually surpassed all these tests and actually became the #1 messaging app, despite of many other similar apps at that time. So I think this was their policy, and when they were acquired, they could not stay with Facebook for more than 3 years. They left both of them, and one of them started Telegram, and another was this open source supporting Signal. So Signal and Telegram both were actually also backed up by the same founders, John Coombe and Brian Acton. So that is the interesting philosophy, because they wanted to come up with wanted to continue with that philosophy, like we need a very, very secure and encrypted way of communication, and not to be integrated with a platform like Facebook or Instagram. Now, with this policy change, I think these two options are there, Signal and Telegram anyways, and people are moving very fast on Signal and Telegram.
Yeah.
But still, I'll say that WhatsApp's this change should have come with an option. They should not come up with a very, very binary or forced way of implementing a policy. Yeah, they should have given an option to the users. Like, if you want to continue with the same sort of policy, probably they can pay, or if somebody is interested to not to pay, then they can give some sort of additional features to that person. So anyways, there were possibilities, but they did not think of those possibilities. They came up with a very hard step. I think that is.
Sure. Okay, Mr. Dubey, Aditya, as well as Dr. Seth, thank you so much for joining us on this discussion.